A five-member panel of Brazil's Supreme Court has voted to convict former President Jair Bolsonaro. Prosecutors accuse him of plotting a coup and trying to abolish democratic rule, all in the hopes of staying in office. CNN Brazil senior correspondent Americo Martins joins me now. Americo, this was a landmark case, and this is a landmark historic ruling.
Absolutely historic.
Tell us what you know.
Yes, absolutely historic. It's the first time we have a Brazilian political leader and four major generals, military generals, convicted of trying a coup d'etat in Brazil. Brazil has a long history of, unfortunately, of military intervention in politics. This was the first time we have a leader convicted. Today, the Supreme Court reached a majority. So they have a panel of 5 judges ruling the case. 3 of them already voted to condemn him. Tomorrow, we are going to have another session of the Supreme Court, and then we are going to know how long the sentence will be. He's facing 43 years in jail.
Yeah, well, so he's currently under house arrest.
Yes.
So in terms of his movements, I guess we'll wait for the outcome of tomorrow, but then what might come and what might happen?
He will, well, now he's considered guilty.
Yeah.
His lawyers will be able to appeal, but on technicalities. It's very unlikely to change the result of this decision. Tomorrow we're going to know the sentence. He's facing up to 43 years. However, it's unlikely to get that much because one of the judges voted to acquit him, not to condemn him, although they reached this majority now. And he's under house arrest, and they will decide tomorrow the length of the sentence and if he's going to stay in house arrest or he's going to be sent to a military prison, for example, or to the federal police.
I mean, we know this is a case that has divided a nation. We've had protests out on the street on both sides of the aisle. Is there concern right now that violence is going to erupt in the aftermath of this? I mean, what are you hearing about the mood?
Unlikely to have violence, thanks. But you are very right. Brazil is very polarized at the moment. It's very, very divided. So this is one case that will touch on the passions of people. Bolsonaro remains a very popular right-wing politician. His supporters will protest. They're pushing the Congress to vote some kind of amnesty. But hopefully we're going to have some demonstrations, but not violence. We had lots of demonstrations recently in Brazil from both sides, people backing the left, people backing the right. But thank God we didn't have violence. So we are not expecting that. But I guess the authorities are preparing for that in any case.
Just to go back to the historic nature of this, the first time a leader has been held accountable for attempting a coup. What does this mean, this moment mean for Brazil's political future? It's
historic, and I think it shows the mature of democracy in Brazil. Brazil is consolidated, it's relatively young democracy. So I think it's a very, very important decision to show that nobody is above the law. As I mentioned to you, Brazil had a very, very long history of military attempts, military coup, military intervention. We had a dictatorship that lasted for 21 years. Nobody ever answered for all the crimes that were committed during that period. Now we have a politician that had been elected, try a coup, according to the Supreme Court, and is going to be punished for that, including the generals. That's also very important. So I think it's a sign that democracy in Brazil is coming to age.
I mean, it is a busy day in Washington, as we've been reporting. We will, of course, look to reaction from there. Obviously, this has been a case that has escalated tensions with President Trump. But for now, a historic day, as you say, and we will continue to follow this. Americo, appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Thank you.